Well, tonight, many are calling it festival fraud.
Chaos, bands canceling, many stranded.
It's supposed to be the music festival of all festivals.
The event's co-founder, Ja Rule, says it's not his fault.
Now the event's co-founder has been arrested.
The year is 2017, and you are just a regular entrepreneur. You want to create the biggest and baddest music festival on the planet.
Pablo Escobar's private island.
But we didn't know anything.
You want to go even bigger than Coachella.
They just bought an island, and they're gonna have a party in April for 10,000 people.
You want to create an event that leaves people in awe.
The most insane festival the world has ever seen.
Engage influencers and celebrities.
That put together FYRE was extorting Billy.
And Billy is an amazing entrepreneur.
You've got no idea that at the end of this journey, you will be in handcuffs.
An absolute disaster.
Just kept saying to Billy, we need to get the messaging out now that this is not a luxury music festival.
You would have defrauded hundreds of customers and all your investors.
We didn't have enough drivers, we didn't have enough houses, we didn't have enough beds, we didn't have enough site, we didn't have enough staff.
That's where you're staying. It was like, oh my God.
That the promises made cannot be fulfilled. This is the story of FYRE, the party that never happened. The FYRE Festival, organised by Billy McFarland and Ja Rule, was initially created to promote their music booking app, FYRE. During a flight to the Bahamas, McFarland and Ja Rule's private plane touched down on a lightly populated island, which they later discovered was Norman's Key, the former private island of Carlos Rivas, a kingpin of the Medellin cartel. McFarland then leased the island from the current owners, with the owners giving the strict condition that McFarland make no reference to Pablo Escobar in any marketing materials. Promotional footage with hired supermodels was shot on Norman's Key, and planning for the festival went ahead. On December 12, 2016, Kendall Jenner, Emily Ratajkowski, and other influencers paid by FYRE simultaneously posted to their Instagram feeds a video with a thumbnail consisting of an orange square and a logo made of stylized flames. This was the beginning of the FYRE Festival's promotional campaign, during which McFarland himself claims that the island had been owned by Pablo Escobar, a falsehood and a breach of contract. The owners cancelled their arrangement with McFarland soon after. When they were kicked off of Norman's Key, they only had 4 months before their inaugural festival on April the 28th to the 30th. After several small islands that seemed like likely venues were turned down, and with only 2 months to go before the FYRE Festival, the Bahamian government gave McFarland a permit to use a site set aside for development at Roca Point on Great Exuma, just north of the Sandals Resort. McFarland renamed this parking lot FYRE Key without announcement. With no existing infrastructure or villas, the team had just under 2 months to turn Roca Point into FYRE Key. The advertised lineup boasted 33 artists, including Pusha T, Tyga, Blink-182 and Migos, among others. In the days leading up to the festival, they cut expenses extensively, having learned that the luxury villas were going to cost $10 million alone. Despite this, McFarland and his team tried to do things themselves where possible. McFarland supposedly learned how to rent the stage by doing a Google search. Shortly before the start of the event, all the advertised acts pulled out, including Major Lazer, who never confirmed their attendance. Additionally, organisers of the FYRE Festival planned their first event on the same weekend as the Exuma Regatta, a Bahamian sailing race series that utilised most of the island's hotels, vacation rentals and resources. These guys seemed to have been digging their own graves. The problems were piling up even before the event started. Comcast Ventures contemplated a $25 million investment into the FYRE app, but they withdrew due to McFarland's inability to verify his $90 million valuation of FYRE Media. After the Comcast deal fell through, McFarland managed to obtain some temporary financing for FYRE through investor Ezra Birnbaum that required the company to repay at least $500,000 of the loan within 16 days. In a desperate attempt to raise quick funds with less than 2 weeks before the event, FYRE announced to ticket holders that the event would now be a cashless and cardless festival. Attendees were encouraged to preload thousands of dollars onto a digital FYRE band to cover purchases at the festival, a decision that later led to a lawsuit. McFarland suggested that attendees deposit $300 to $500 for every day they planned to attend. About $2 million from festival goers was taken for these bracelets, 40% of which, according to a lawsuit later filed by Birnbaum, was used by McFarland to pay off the short-term loan. The first flights from Miami to Exuma landed at 6:20 a.m. Later that day, Blink-182 withdrew from the event, stating in a Twitter post that "We are not confident that we would have what we need to give you the quality of performances we always give our fans." Initial arrivals were taken to an impromptu beach party at a beachside restaurant, where they were plied with alcohol and kept waiting for around 6 hours, whilst frantic preparations at the festival site continued. Later arrivals saw the reality: disaster relief tents for accommodations, many with wet mattresses from rain, and subpar food offerings, including cheese sandwiches in foam containers. Festival goers were dropped off at the production bungalow where McFarland and his team were based so they could be registered, but after hours of waiting in vain, people rushed to claim their own tents. Although there were only about 500 people, there were not enough tents and beds for the guests, so they wound up stealing from others. In the early morning, it was announced that the festival would be postponed and that the attendees would be returned to Miami as soon as possible.
If I can get back to Miami, get in a shower, and get in a fresh bed, I will be so happy.
FYRE Festival faced various issues, including guests' baggage mishandling, insufficient lighting, incomplete venue setup, a lack of staff and medical aid, and inadequate facilities like toilets and water supply. Many attendees were reportedly stranded as flights to and from the island were cancelled after the Bahamian government issued an order that barred any planes from landing at the airport. The first flight back to Miami the next day was extensively delayed due to manifest issues and ultimately cancelled. Passengers were locked in the Exuma airport terminal without amenities such as food, water, or air conditioning. One passenger even passed out due to the heat and needed to be hospitalized. In May of 2017, the FBI launched a criminal investigation into McFarland and his associates for various types of fraud, leading to McFarland's arrest in June. In March 2018, McFarland pleaded guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud related to defrauding investors and a ticket vendor, leading to a 6-year prison sentence and a $26 million forfeiture order in October. Ja Rule posted a note on Twitter that said, "I wanted this to be an amazing event. It was not a scam as everyone is reporting. I don't know how everything went so left, but I'm working to make it right by making sure everyone is refunded," he went on to say. "I truly apologize as this is not my fault, but I'm taking responsibility." FYRE Festival announced that it would offer all attendees a choice between a full refund or VIP tickets to the following year's festival, which was proposed but never happened. Ja Rule claimed in 2019 that he too was defrauded by McFarland. Later that year, he was dismissed from a class action lawsuit filed by festival attendees, with the judge stating that his social media promotion of the festival had not been proven to directly cause the plaintiff's attendance.